All right. The finale of From finally dropped, and boy, is it an information dump. Now, if you watched my last video, I put out some theories out there, which all of them turned out to be incorrect. No surprise there, but I did get one of them right. I did get one of them right. I did say Jim was gonna die. Spoiler alert, Jim dies. That's the one theory I said that I got right. But to our buddy out there, if you're watching, you know who you are. He was right. I was wrong.
I'm stupid, you're smart. I was wrong, you were right. You're the best, I'm the worst. You're very good looking, I'm not attractive.
He said that the baby, the thing that's spawn that's coming out of Fatima is gonna be Smiley. I told him, no, that sounds ridiculous. And sure enough, whenever she has that baby, I'm like, God damn it, he was right. Now I have to suffer and defeat. So let's get into the season finale of From and where it's going for the future. So it opens up. Once again, they're searching for Fatima. We got Boyd, Kenny looking for Fatima. Then Ellis comes in, which I also said last episode that why is Ellis not suspicious of Elgin at all? Sure enough, he is. He comes in and says, "Hey, Dad, there's something going on with Elgin. He knows where Fatima is." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." And what's even more surprising, they're all communicating. How wild is that? They're all communicating.
So the first time, yeah, they're all communicating and we finally get answers. Would you look at that? That's wild, right?
I know we got Jim, freaking Tabitha, uh, Jade communicating. We got Boyd, Elgin, Ellis, or not Elgin. We got that whole group communicating. We got Julie and Ethan communicating. I'm sure there's some more in there that I'm forgetting, but I'm like, wow, everyone is sharing their experiences. I'm like, wow, that is freaking, it is about damn time. It only took 3 seasons. So shortly after, it cuts from Boyd and Ellis, it does cut over to Fatima, and we see something moving in her stomach, moving in her belly. And dude, every time I see a scene like that where something's moving in the chick's belly, God, it just grosses me out. It just does not look natural.
Oh, and that kind of brings me to the scene where she had that piece of glass, and she was thinking about cutting the baby out. And I was like, man, I can't do
Yeah.
that. That is rough. And knowing From, I figured they would pull some crap like that, because like they don't hold back, and you can definitely tell later on in this episode, they definitely don't, like, considering what happens to Elgin.
Well, she was starting to cut herself. Like she breaks that glass. She's starting to cut herself. And then I'm thinking, no way, no way, no way. This is this is how she has the baby. And sure enough, the kimono chick, shows up and stops her from cutting it out. And I was like, ah, thank God. The one thing that Elgin said to everyone that he really believed.
I don't want to hurt anybody, but you have to understand what's happening is a good thing.
It turned out to be correct, to be honest, is that Fatima was gonna be okay. No one was gonna die. And Fatima was okay. But
Is
many
Yeah.
people probably will die in the future because of her baby.
So let's kinda get into Smiley a little bit. So it kinda gives us, this episode tells us that they sacrificed their children, which are the Anakui kids, to live forever. And this place that was the, like, eternal life gift, is to create them into these monsters. So it's like the way I kinda see this, thing is it's like, yeah, it has like, it'll give you what you want in a really messed up version, of what you want, so
Yeah, so it turns out that Jade and Tabitha, they're not like they're kinda like reincarnations,
no,
but it's like their
they are
souls.
reincarnations.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, they are. But it's like their souls are, I don't know how to explain it. Like, yeah, I mean, that's kinda they are. They just keep finding themselves back here at this place. Every new life they have, they find themselves back at this place. And there were two like original people who were trying to save their daughter and save the other children, but failed. And now they're pretty much doomed to do it over and over and over until they finally succeed.
I really enjoy the concept. It's really fun to play around with. It's like a puzzle that was destined just for them. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what they do wrong, they will come back and they have to solve the puzzle. No one else can solve the puzzle. They have to solve the puzzle, which is like why bears to ask the question, why? Why is it Jade and Tabitha?
Well, that's why, because they're from the town. Like they're the ones who were trying to save the children. It was their daughter that also got sacrificed.
Oh yeah, yeah, okay. So yeah, there was like a cult thing there. Okay, I see. And their kids got sacrificed to give them eternal life. Kind of makes sense in a really witchcrafty kind of way.
Well, we also figure out what the numbers are for inside the bottles. So freaking Jim is the one who figured that out whenever Jade is talking about the numbers. He's like, "Well, what about music notes? Don't they have like 12 numbers as well?" And that's when Jade's like, "Oh shit, you're a genius." And then they figure it out. They go get the violin and start playing the music. Now, let me tell you this. So Jim said whenever he started playing the song, like humming the song, and the song just popped in his head, Jim said,
I'm not so sure this is a good idea.
"Do you guys think this is a good idea?" And he was right. It was not a good idea. When they did that song, it unleashed that guy in yellow, and it was not a good. No telling what's going to happen now after that.
Well, here's the thing. It's like that's part of the game. That's part of the puzzle. As you unlock one part of the puzzle, you're another thing is gonna come up, and that's another piece of puzzle you've got to figure out now. You know
Yeah,
what I
it's like
mean?
the
But it's
next
never
level
good.
or something.
Yeah, it's never good. Never, never,
Yeah,
never good. This place
never
never
good at all.
rewards. It only takes.
So let's talk about the torturing of Elgin. All right. So I did not think Boyd was actually really gonna go through with it, and he kind of didn't. Like he was really he was just breaking his hand a little bit to pieces. Just hitting his hand with a
I
hammer.
mean,
And you
just
see that
he
bone
didn't.
sticking out? Oof,
What? That's what
golly.
I'm saying. He was torturing him. Like that was 100% torture.
He
He
was,
just
but he
didn't.
wasn't doing like what Sarah did. When Sarah went in there, she's like, "Hey, I don't want Boyd's soul to be tainted like mine, so I want to take this over." And I was like, "Oh," because it panned over to the screwdriver or flathead or whatever it was. And I was like, "Oh god, she's gonna take out his eye with that." Oh god, it looks so rough. Whenever we see him after she's done,
Scene
yeah,
traumatized me. It that
yeah.
scene was rough. Was so rough.
RUFF. Yes, yes, it was. It was rough. But she gets the information. They all come running in there. She's like, "Yeah, she's at the cellar." She's like, "Oh,
That's
cool."
what was so dumb. Elgin sacrificed himself like that, not like his life, but sacrificed his body like that to freaking to give them information, not enough time. Like it didn't even matter. None of it mattered, like
It doesn't matter!
and that was what I was gonna say is, once they actually get there to Fatima, the baby is already taken down there and Boyd goes down to the cellar.
Well, hold on, hold on. Let's back up. Let's back up. So whenever they're still like, whenever Boyd first goes in there to torture him, the camera goes off and it's a picture of his house. What do you think that means?
I know it's not what he interpreted it to be. Like what Elgin did is like, "Oh, we're going home, we're going home." I don't think that that's the case. What do you
Yeah,
think
but
it
also
is?
doesn't have his boat. Like he doesn't have his boat there. It's just the home that they were traveling to, but without the boat. Like I don't know what it means to be honest, especially without the boat. So like I am very curious to see if that has any significance later down the line.
It definitely is going to. Like, I wanna rewatch this episode again and kinda try to soak up the minor details that I missed because there was so much going on this episode. It was oh, there's so much to take in, so much information, and you just couldn't get Elgin out of your head after that scene. You just, like, was dealing with that while you're trying to figure everything out. It was a lot. This episode was
It,
a
it
lot.
was. It was a lot. And we also get Victor. He shows his dad where he buried his mom and his sister. And what he says about his sister, it really makes you wonder, is she really dead? Because all he found was pieces, and he wasn't really for sure if it was her or not. She was so small, all he found was pieces. Pretty good chance that was her. Like, she was just all over the place. But maybe she went through the tree and got out. We don't really know.
I don't
It's
think
still a
she got
possibility.
out, but here, let me put this concept out there for you. The guy that they did unlock or whatever, you know, maybe she went to a place similar to that because he was the one that was telling Jim not to for Tabitha not to be digging that hole earlier, you know? I have to ask the question, it's like, where did Julie come in? You know, it's just like all of a sudden Julie's just running through the forest and this guy is like, "Why?" Like,
Oh, I know. I already know about that. Like, I know exactly what's going on with that. All right, so let's talk about Julie and Ethan. All right, so when she's talking to her brother Ethan at the diner, she's like, "Hey, this is what really happened. I didn't just pass out or anything. I went to this place and then I saw all this crazy shit." And then he says, because he says a lot of things that really that he's pretty much like the outline. Like he tells people what's going on, I guess from his childlike brain. And he tells her, "You're a story walker." Which means he means, like, she can go in and out, but she's not able to change anything. She's able to go travel different places. So by going to that location, she was able to travel to a different time, but not change any of the outcomes. So whenever at the end, whenever Jim is out there by himself and he hears her, because you notice she looks completely different. She has different hair, colors, like different colors, different size. She's wearing different clothes, like her hair is shorter, everything. It's not the same Julie that is at this time. It's a different Julie who was trying to change that Jim dies. That's what she was trying to do. That's why she can't run out of the woods saying, "This must be where it happens," telling her dad to run. But he doesn't listen and he gets got.
that makes complete sense considering Boyd, you know, how she was in there to throw rope down. She's a time
Yeah.
hopper, and she can hop through times. She can't really, like, do anything other than, like, tell people or maybe, like, you know, do small things to help them out, but that's essentially it. She can't, like, bring anyone back that's dead or not, so, okay, I get it.
Well, she's not trying to bring him back. She was trying to change him, make him
Right.
run, get him out of there to stay alive. That was what her goal was. But if she can do this, so what are the other two experiencing? So we know Rendell he was about to lobotomize himself. He couldn't handle the noise anymore of those damn cicadas. Like he just couldn't handle it. And he goes and finds that electric paddle. He's ready to just he's tired. He can't handle no more. But they end up saving it. Also, what's going on with Marielle? Because Randall's going crazy. Julie can time jump. What can Marielle do? She's the third person in this little group. Now she says to Christy, "No, she's not okay. She's not okay at all." But she doesn't explain what's going on. It cuts away. So I think we'll get more of her and what's going on with her next season. So whenever Fatima's having a baby, right? She's like having the baby and the door opens from the floor, just slowly opens. I was like, "Holy shit." It's not very many shows out there that gives me anxiety just watching it, right? But this show gives me anxiety because you don't really know what's gonna happen next. You don't know who's gonna die because you're kinda invested in these characters. So when that opens and then the kimono chick takes the larva down the stairs, and then we see Boyd go down after, because he's like, "I have to see
It's
what's
not a
going
larva,
on."
it's a fetus. It's a fetus.
It looks kinda
Sorry,
like a larva to me.
it's a fucking
It looks kinda
fetus, bro.
like a larva, but Boyd walks down and he says, "No, I have to see what's going on," and they're all down there. He gets down there, and they're all standing around, right? All the creatures standing around, and we see Smiley just pop out, and it looks like he looks right at Boyd, which is pretty crazy. And then Boyd sees, he's like, "Holy shit, I killed you," and he's back. That is so crazy. So that's really gonna break Boyd, I think, knowing that they can't really kill them, because if they do, it's one of the women's gonna get pregnant and just pop out another one.
Other than that, man, I really enjoyed this episode. This was like a super interesting episode. I will never forget this episode. Like never. It scarred me. And it gives us a lot to think about until next season, season 4.
Yeah, gives us a lot of theory times. And I did like this season. It was a little bit slow. There's a lot of things that we didn't get answers for, kind of like the creature walking around the houses in that second village. Like, we never got anything about that. Still have no idea what that is. Still don't know what what Martin is or who he is. We don't know anything about Martin. We really don't know too much about what is going to happen to Randall. And but we know that the kimono chick is, I don't she's there helping the creatures. She's like part of the town. She's not really there to help. We know what happened to Fatima. We know what happened to the creatures, why they are there, what they did, sacrificing their children to become immortal, basically. And we also figure out who the guy is talking to Jim on the first season of the radio, so we know who
Here's the
that guy
thing, we
was
don't
now.
know really what he is because he just
Yeah, we don't know what
ripped.
he is, though. Yeah.
Yeah, he ripped Jim's throat off like it was one of them. So I'm like, is it one of them? But like, I don't know. I have no idea. Don't even get me started. I have no idea.
You know what he reminded me of, though? That guy in yellow. He reminded me of Jack the Ripper from Last Action Hero. That's exactly what he reminded me of. He has the yellow jacket thing on. He looks all weird and grody looking. That's what he reminded me of. Like the. All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking this out. Thanks for watching our From videos. Let us know your theories in the comments. Who is the yellow guy? What's his purpose? And will we get more info on him? I'm sure we will, but I just don't know when. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace out.